Welcome back. Episode 6. Have a seat.
We still don't have a producer. If anybody's interested, be nice.
Call us up. Send us a message.
Yeah, we're hiring for sure. We feed you goldfish and applesauce packets. That's about all we have.
Don't forget the pecans.
Oh, pecans.
Pecans, yeah.
Too. All right, so man, a lot going on. Been doing a lot of traveling. County's gone completely crazy. City's crazy. We're getting shot at. Mogadishu style, I guess. Let that calm down a little bit before we get into the heat of the moment. But yeah, a lot going on.
People don't like what we have to say.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You always call me at the most inopportune times. I was knee deep in dirt.
Sorry.
And she said, "Let's do a show." I was like, "Sure, let's do it." So sorry
people
for
message. People message like, "Where you at?"
And I noticed I got my work shirt on.
Yeah.
But you know, this is go with a lot of the theme of today's episode.
Being shot at.
Getting shot at, and then this yellow paint I got on my shirt when I was making those India signs. When she was running against I can't remember that short dude's name. But anyways, you should have probably voted for her, and we wouldn't be having any of these talks.
Remember the write-in.
You, right there,
Yeah.
are the reason that elections have consequences.
Yes.
Thank you for making us all miserable.
Yeah.
Thank you. But anyway, let's talk about it.
What you voted for?
Wow.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Last night was bad. It was bad, y'all.
Yeah, well, two council meetings, Walhalla, and you had the county council meeting, and both of them damn train wrecks.
I'd like to ask them to not have them at the same time. Can we do that? Can we petition for them not to have any of the council meetings at the same time? And I know that.
But 6 o'clock on a Tuesday is the perfect time.
Well,
But they could alternate Tuesdays.
Yeah, can we alternate Tuesdays? Because I was trying to watch. I had one on the TV and one on my phone, and that's just, you can't do that. You can't do that. It doesn't work. So it'd be nice to just have them alternating Tuesdays or something, because I know we got the 4 municipalities, and then of course they're going to have other, boards and that kind of thing. But if they could just rotate that stuff so that people could keep up, that'd be great. Because I like to know what's going on, and it's kind of hard that way.
So let's back away from that, because we're going to talk about the county council meeting in the second segment. A lot going on there. The budget, $20 million more now than it was 2 years ago. Why? But Kathy and I promised each other that we wouldn't do this very often, but when we do, we've agreed that it would be about stuff that we both find really stupid. And let's talk about the national stuff.
Yeah.
And we want to talk a little bit about the Department of Defense renaming ships because of the milk guy, Harvey Milk, who was an absolute superstar on the battlefield during the Korean War. Got a lot of awards. But then later in life, he turned out, I guess he was, I don't know if he's gay or not, but he was definitely an advocate.
He was gay.
Right?
He was gay.
Yeah,
Harvey
who
Milk was
cares?
gay. Yeah.
But
And
I don't
an
know.
activist. So, yeah.
I don't know anything about him.
I do.
But
yeah, he was an activist.
The ship was not named after him because he was a gay activist. The ship was named after him because he did a lot during the Korean War. And do you need to change the name of a ship just because some guy was really proud of being gay? No, I don't think so.
I don't think you can separate, you shouldn't have to separate the things. If a person does something good and then in addition they are gay, that they're still that person that, whether you agree, disagree, or whatever, they still, if he was a war hero, he's still a war hero if he's gay.
I have been a lot of places a lot of places, and I've never like felt uncomfortable because there's gay people around. Like,
No.
like people don't run up to me and say I'm queer. It don't happen.
Well, I mean,
I've never had it happen. Like I've never had like a transvestite swing it from the ropes of a tree in the woods and say, "Let me read you a book." Ain't nothing like that ever happened to me. I mean, I went on one gay date and I didn't know it, and it was just he was a nice fella and took me to dinner. On the way to a poker game that I asked to go to, and he was volunteered to come pick me up, and I didn't have a car because I had just moved from England to San Antonio, and my poker clubs, like that I had in England, said, "Hey, there's a poker club there. Reach out." Well, I didn't even reach out to them. They were so kind that they told the poker club there about me that they reached out. And this guy, a great friend of mine, Tom, calls me up and says, "Hey, you want to play poker? You're new in town. You don't know anybody." I said, yeah. I said, "But I can't get there because I don't got a car." I said, "Got you covered." Here comes Big Larry. Big Larry's like, "Get in my F-150. He had a beard like down here, and he took good care of it, you know. Like, whatever, you know. Well, he took me for Mexican food. And it was like, hey, you know, it was good. We had a good conversation. And, you know, we never did say anything about being gay. Then we get there to the poker thing. And I sit down.
Generally don't.
Right,
they don't wear the big T-shirt.
Right, but then they sit down beside this guy who actually turns out he worked for me. After I actually got into the command, and his name was Craig Shortell. Love him to death. He's great. He looks at me and he says, "So, what's your date with Larry?" I was like, "Hell, he bought dinner. I don't care," you know. But yeah, he never even mentioned that. I don't know, about 8, 9 months, 10 months later, dude got married to some fella. I didn't go to the wedding. I didn't care. I hope he's having a great life. I see him on Facebook every once in a while. It looks like he's doing fine. But I wasn't scared. I mean, I wasn't violated. Nothing was wrong with that.
Despite the conservative ideation, they don't have Convert a Hetero Day. They don't. I mean, I have gay friends and family. They don't have Convert a Hetero Day. They're not hiding behind trees trying to kidnap you and turn you into one of them. They're not recruiting.
Aside from all of that, why do we want to make people feel bad? Because we say they got a mental health problem or whatever, the brain don't work, and that's why that they want to be gay. I don't even really know what we think about why that happens anymore. But why does it matter?
You know, the biggest thing is that people just mind their business.
But
that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Just let people live their lives.
But you want to antagonize your damn children so much that they want to blow their fucking brains out. Excuse my French.
That's
because you don't accept them for how they feel. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean,
what's wrong with you?
It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. So here's the thing: that it's 2025, and there are still people that would rather have a dead child than a gay child, or a trans child, or you know, fill in the blank. They would rather have a gay child.
I got 5 of them.
Yeah.
And you know,
I just can't imagine anything that my kids would come to me and say that would make me not love them. I can't.
Nothing.
I can't. And so
nothing.
There's all that. And you know, sometimes social media is great and sometimes it's a blessing, and there are other times that you just look at it. I hadn't been able to look a lot lately because there are other times that you just look at it and you just go, yuck. Because people are gross.
But it's like, we grew up, well, I grew up in Appalachia, and there's a whole lot of like
hate.
But it's like, it's passed down hate. And them people that passed it down, they ain't got nothing to hate either. My grandpa's grandpa hated black folks. It's like, like what'd they ever do to you?
Nothing. But
again, I've been all over the world.
Circling back.
Now, I may regret this. I may regret saying this. I've been all over the world, and I ain't never been shot, stabbed, or mugged by a black person, or a white person, or brown person, anybody. Now, I might regret that because I'm going to New York City at the end of the month, and you never know, right?
New York's safer than Oconee.
But the thing about it is, it's like we're constantly passing on this weird ass hate for everything. And there's no sense in it. Just live your life. Let them live their life. And if you don't like what they're doing, don't go over there.
Speaking of, we're talking national. We're just talking societal stuff right now. All the people, especially around here, King of the Hill fans.
Mm-hmm.
The voice actor for John Redcorn.
Yeah.
Murdered in a hate crime because, fun fact, he was gay. So
he wasn't gay in King of the Hill.
Wasn't gay in King of the Hill. A bunch of people probably wouldn't watch.
Right.
How many people wouldn't watch the show that they love because if they knew that?
How many actors and actresses are actually not gay?
I don't know.
I mean, most of that society all is, but we can't turn it off.
I mean, but seriously, how many people love that show, especially around here,
mm-hmm.
and identify with the characters and stuff from the show? But,
which one do you identify?
Yeah.
Propane and propane accessories.
But yeah, I mean.
Sounds a lot like Boo Mouth.
Yeah, out here. Yeah. But yeah,
I wonder if we got to pay somebody to have said something about King of the Hill, or will they pay us?
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I'm sure one of y'all.
I'm sure we'll find out
sued.
soon enough. But Netta will let us know. But seriously, I mean, just I don't know. We have seen the kids, and I mean that was a big thing at our house, and I can't imagine. Had people, because people don't get into, especially cartoons, who the actors are. But to find that out, how many people would have just not watched the show or kept their kids from watching the show or whatever. It's interesting.
But it's funny, like you've got 4 kids and I've got 5. And at different stages of their life, they go through things, and we went through those same things, And it's like my youngest daughter. I love her death. She's here now for the summer. But a couple years ago, she was like 13, 14, and she says to me one day, she says, "Daddy, I'm a lesbian." And I'm like, "Okay, how do you know?" And she said, "I just think I am." I said, "Well," being a lesbian is like a whole lot like painting houses. You can't call yourself a painter till you've painted a house. I said, "So you plan on painting any houses?" She said, "Well, no." I said, "Well, then you ain't a painter.
Yeah.
You just don't know." And why don't you just have that conversation with the kids when they're like, "I don't know."
You have to allow kids space to be who they are. And who they are isn't always going to be who you planned for them to be.
A lot of parents wreck relationships with their children because their children aren't meeting some weird ass expectation of society.
Yeah.
I hope that all of my children break all the molds. I don't care what mold it is, just break it.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Be what you want.
Yeah, I really wanted my daughter to be an attorney. She's not. But she went to college. She has 2 degrees. She's going back to college. Great mom. She's really happy. Very, very proud of her.
There's a lot of that mom stuff going on in your world.
Yeah, she doesn't have to do what I wanted her to. I wanted my son, I had an idea of what I wanted my son to do. He owns his own company. He owns his own business. He's doing what, they're not going to do they don't have to do what you want them to.
Oh, they'll do exactly what you don't want them to. So why don't you lay that list out?
Especially if you push them.
Right.
That's been my experience.
I believe that that's where...
If you say, "I hate this, I don't want you to do this," that's exactly what they're going to do.
Well, most of that stuff's done out of rebellion.
Yeah.
It really is. And if you want to fix that, call us and we'll have some parenting advice for you. Stop being a bigot, and your kids won't turn out having different colored youngins and shit. Just stop it. And you can break it.
Yeah. I mean, you just allow them the freedom to be who they are. I mean, I don't know.
Anyways, that's probably enough of all that. Thanks for going down that road without crucifying me. if anybody else, and it would have been fist fighting probably. So that wasn't too bad. Texas don't need to be renaming ships.
Yeah, that's
Stupid.
terrible. It's just I don't even understand.
It's just as dumb as renaming all them army bases because they were named after Confederate generals. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That was stupid when that happened. This is going to be stupid when
you got to wonder too, what is the expense of all that? There has to be a physical cost to all of that.
Every sign, every letterhead, every uniform, everything
Absolutely.
has a cost.
And that's real money. That's taxpayer money.
We want to have this small government. We ain't spending no money. Blah 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 blah. Guns and bullets and 2A. Whoever over there is 2A and the hell out of something. It's probably because we're doing this where we're doing it. But anyway, we want to have small government, but then we do dumb shit like that. They cost millions of dollars that we shouldn't have to spend.
Yeah.
But then when we need to spend money on something, they don't let us spend it on Medicaid, Social Security.
Yeah, all the Medicaid cuts have been interesting. It's just I don't understand what the hang up is with taking care of people. I mean, we give all these breaks, and this is nationally, to corporations, billionaires. We're giving them contracts to explore space when they've got money on their own to explore space.
Let's talk about let's populate Mars. Let's fix what we got here before we go breaking another planet.
Right. I mean, but then we're gonna act like somebody who's disabled on a fixed income is the problem. I mean, really?
Yeah. Why do we need?
Why are poor people the problem? I mean, maybe the problem is that somebody who works 40 hours a week at a job isn't getting paid enough to make ends meet. Maybe that's the problem, that you could ever work 40 hours somewhere and not be able to pay your bills and live and go to the doctor.
They are people that won't even pay their own youngins enough to work for them, to encourage them to stick around.
Yeah.
I ran into like that. I heard a story about that. This guy son-in-law was working for him. He wouldn't pay him enough money, so he up and said, "We're out of here." Took daughter, my grandbaby, all this stuff's gone now. And really, the only thing that would have fixed that would have been $15 an hour.
And can you live off $15 an hour in this
it's
economy?
It's like, are we thinking? Are we thinking? And I don't think we're thinking. There's a book called Thinking About Thinking, and it's probably real high level for a lot of folks. So don't everybody go out and buy it. It's wrote by some doctor at the CIA, but it's good. And people just don't think about their thinking. So let's talk about annexation in Oahu.
Oh God.
How's that going for you, Kathy?
I'm tired of hearing about it, because we finally got the copy, and it's on the page of what the whole deal is, and I think paragraph 3 should be what people are focusing on, that the insurance rates will go down, that services will increase. It's all positive stuff. It's not the boogeyman that Mr. Keene, we're naming names, that Mr. Keene and Mr. Lay are out here telling everybody and getting all spun up about. And, while
Isn't that like a very strange bedfellows?
It is.
These two teaming up.
It is, and it's about the election. I mean, it's just,
is
stir the pot and say whatever you can to get a foothold. That's my belief, because one person doesn't even have a dog in the fight. I mean, if you're not paying taxes and you're not paying for utilities, and you're not.
like, how could you be running to be part of city government if you got no dog in the fight? That'd be like me saying, I live in Mountain Rest, but I want to be on Walhalla City Council because I know I could help you. I mean, I could fix a lot of your problems, but I don't live there, so they're really not my problems. So you're gonna like, nope, we don't want that guy. So let's get some guy that 19, 20 years old, lives with mama in the basement probably, and don't pay taxes, don't know shit about nothing in life because he's not been nowhere, not gone to college, not done anything really. He wants to represent you. Clean slate. He's very moldable. But the problem with that is, if you follow him, he's works for this Democrat group as a agitator over here. He's on the Oconee County Republican site. He's agitating over here. He's just agitating, really.
I think he's trying to find himself. I'll give you that. I think he needs to know who he is, and it, you know, I'm sure I'll get backlash for that, but kudos to want to do something. But you got to know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know what you want to do, and you got to know what you want to do. You can't just, because what you do matters.
Well,
what you do matters, and here's what I'm saying to you, and here's what my appeal to people, because I've seen people that I've known for 40 years that are falling into this trap with Mr. Keene, and Mr. Keene is the spoon that's stirring the pot here. And what I'm going to say to him, I'm going to give Hayden some grace here because he is young. What I'm going to say, Mr. Keene, is that is his intention, is to stir the pot. I'm gonna 100% say that's why he came here. It's one thing to move here and to join a community and build a community up and want to be a part. It's another thing to move here to gentrify. And that's what I think his role is. I think that was his intention. I think that was his goal. So I take issue with him and people like him. I do. And I think I see a lot of people that I've known, like I said, for 40 years, who are good people, but don't understand the fact that just because somebody invokes the name of Jesus does not mean that they're good people. It does not mean that they're well-intentioned. I think that a lot of what he is doing, and most of what he has done, is disingenuous.
Producer's job still available.
Because here's the thing. Gentrification is what is going to happen. If we do not do something to subsidize and to make money for Walhalla, because, and I know people don't like to talk about money, but it takes money to run a city. It does. It costs money. And to have nice things, you have to have money. Then people who worked at the garment plants and stuff and who have little houses over in town are not going to be able to afford to live there. Because the people that live in city limits, people that live in city limits are the ones that are footing the bill for the water. The people that live outside are getting the utilities on the cheap and complaining about it. And the rest of us that live inside city limits are paying the premium prices. We're paying the taxes. And I'm sorry, if you want me to get out the whiteboards and make some cool presentation like Mr. Keene does.
Well, what about that one I did that one time? It was good.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to go there and do that, we can. But the fact of the matter is it's the folks that live in town that are footing the bill. And it's the folks in town that are going to lose out. It's going to be the older folks, like I said, that worked over at the mill all their lives that are going to lose their homes. And I'm sorry, Hayden and Mr. Keene, I'm pretty sure Mr. Keene understands. I'm pretty sure that he and his folks and his friends are just lying in wait for that to happen so that they can clean up. Now, Hayden, I just think that you just don't understand what's going on, honey. And if you won't sit down and have a cup of coffee and a conversation, then I can explain. But don't just fall for everything that you're told. These people will get hurt. These people will lose their homes. These old folks that have lived there for 40 and 50 years and have worked with their hands to have a home over in town are gonna lose their homes.
That's the biggest issue I have with him, and the conversations that I've had on social media with Hayden, is that if you're going to represent the city, you need to make sure that the city's best interests are your platform, not the people around the city who don't pay the city taxes. You know, if you're living with your mama in the city and you're on the city council, your job should be to make your mama as comfortable as possible as a citizen without doing unethical stuff. You should want that for everyone, right?
Well, and the thing of it is, if you look at everybody on that council, you look at the people that are serving, one of these things is not like the other, all right? Mm-hmm. Like the old Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. You need to question people's intentions. These people aren't getting rich. They are taking their precious time away from their jobs, away from their family, away from their free time to do this. And they're getting lots of pushback, scrutiny, at everything. This ordinance is not an uncommon thing in municipalities. What they have done with money, this is not uncommon. Okay, like it's being pitched like they've done something wrong.
The people that are pitching this, we owe the water department $6 million.
Yeah,
they're banking on you as a citizen of Walhalla are stupid.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
They feel you are stupid.
Yep.
An interdepartmental deficit between a water department, which sells water for the city, is like saying the rock crusher for Oconee County, all the money it's made, the county owes the rock crusher. Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, how does the county owe itself?
Right, well, exactly. But what you don't, the money that it's making off of water utilities could have, yes, this is the cash cow for the city for some stupid reason, that you invested in water and not in local businesses and tourism and tourists and all that revenue. You just didn't want that, and you didn't want restaurants, and you wanted a damn Bantam chef, but you didn't want nothing else, and you tried to run off every damn food truck that came to Walhalla. Yeah. You done a lot of stupid shit. But look, that's where you're at now. That's it. But the water is your cash cow. Yeah, you should have invested in keeping up the system as you went along instead of, who knows where the money went. Who knows? Probably right up into thin air. But you bought a mountainside park that should be making you all kind of money. You need a sidewalk that ties this park to the town so you make even more money.
Yep.
But you're stuck on this water department is owed $6 million because the city spent the money. Yeah, because that was the revenue source to keep the town running.
Right.
Not we're going to make sure that the water department runs, but the whole town has to run on that. That's just like the fire contract with the county that you just lost. Stand up to the county and tell them, look, yeah, we told you we'd do this fire contract for you for $500,000 a year, but you don't get to tell us what we did with the money. That's not up to you. We provided a service to you. Tear your damn building down. It's making my town, my city look bad, and I want $1,000 a day till it's tore down. Stand up for yourself, Walhalla.
Yep. And the next time that something catches on fire and they call you up, go, I'm sorry, I didn't know you. Put out your own fire.
Yeah.
I mean, do it. Do it.
So, but the whole thing, Kathy, the whole thing is these agitators get people that are just unconscientious. You just don't understand what's going on. They're playing on you because you've not educated yourself as to what's going on.
Well, and like I said,
$6 million.
If you have to bring your religion into business and politics, you probably aren't. It's probably not real. It's probably not real.
The thing about it is, we want to talk about that. We have spent $6 million over the last 10 years that the water department has brought into the city. How much money from the general fund has been paid out to the water department, because that's not been tracked. How much money is it? And then wait a minute.
Well, and say,
we're
let's
at a
talk about
deficit.
Roll back for a second. Let's talk about the last 10 years. How many people on this council were there for the last 10 years? So let's stop throwing people under the bus
Right.
for things that they were not there for. You know, we cannot make our mayor, we cannot make our council members who were not there responsible for the mistakes of former council, for former mayors.
Well, what about
for
the
former-
council member that was on there before the mayor that didn't change anything, that just wants to agitate everybody?
Yeah. I mean, and again, question motivation. Question motivation. What is the motivation? What is the motivation? What does this person get out of this? I mean, there's always something. There's always a rub.
Can I say, we'll move on to something else real quick, but like all these distractions are going on. What are we being distracted from? A lot of times this stuff gets blown up so that we don't look at the real problem.
Yeah.
What's the real problem? Oh, Paul Harvey used to say, what's the rest of the story, right?
Yeah.
Well, bring that to us, Grant. What's the rest of the story?
Well-
Didn't you work for him? Tell us what's the rest of the story. What's behind it? What's your motivation? Call us up.
Well, and the second thing of it is too, you know, he always says things and he's like, well, this guy or they, name names, dude. Name names. If you are so sure of yourself, you spent money to put up 1,000 signs. I feel like if you feel like something is so nefarious.
So who spent that money?
Grant did.
No. He may have signed the check, but who gave him the money to do it?
I don't know. But, you know.
What's behind this? There's
all
something behind
I'm saying
this.
is, if you feel that is so unethical, and what's going on is so unethical, because he said last night, well, I don't think, you know, I think that we can be held personally responsible. If you are so worried about that, then I think either one, you would get an attorney yourself. That's what I think. Or two, you would resign. Because I'm going to tell you, if I'm on a board and I'm about to get personally sued, my home, my livelihood, my everything is going to be, with my family and whatnot, is going to be in jeopardy. Like if your business, your livelihood and everything was going to be in jeopardy, you would step down, right?
Or I'd double down.
Or what? Something.
I'd double down. That's because I'm conservative. That's why I do.
I mean,
I'm
because
innocent until proven guilty.
You wouldn't be going out buying signs. If you thought something was actually there, you go get an attorney. You file a lawsuit. You do something. You wouldn't just keep spinning wheels. That is what I think. I don't think that I would stay in a situation that I thought was unethical and was dirty. I mean, not and keep spouting the name of Jesus, I wouldn't either.
Well,
Because if it was immoral, unethical, and I mean, no. So I'm calling BS on that.
well,
I'm
I
calling
just
BS on that.
I just don't understand how you can say what would Jesus do and get an answer and then do something totally different.
Well, yeah. I mean, and so yeah. I'm saying one of these things is not like the other. Question motivation. Question motivation. Question motivation.
Get the real story, the whole story.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well, do we got anything else we want to talk about? Talk about the budget a little bit with the county council before we go to a break, and then we come back.
Now we're gonna do a show about this red shirt business.
Yeah, that's coming up. We're gonna find a time.
It's gonna get a whole thing all to itself.
We're gonna go to Greenville.
We're going on the road.
We heard that they actually have a red shirt, like a real one,
The real
in
thing.
Greenville.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go and look at it. So
And make you look at it.
go ahead and hop over and tell them we're coming. I know somebody's listening that will, but we want to see it. We want to know all about it. But yeah, let's take a break and get to the next segment. We're going to talk about conservation easements. I know y'all been itching for us to say that word, but we're going to do it. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back.